trying to get video and audio running at the same time. And I think I can hear myself now coming back via the Melbourne TV repeater. So I'll just mute that. And a very pleasant good evening. Welcome back after 2 weeks being off air. And I think the internet is going to be holding hopefully tonight. Since I've been home from work, I've been keeping an eye on the stability of the internet, and it looks like it's I don't know whether the Telstra or NBN have come out and emptied the pits, but it seems to be holding. So we're broadcasting tonight on prime frequency 3541 kilohertz in the 80 meter amateur radio band, and also broadcasting via the Melbourne TV repeater, VK3 RTV, digital channel 1. Good evening to everybody watching TV. And also via the YouTube stream, which you can find on my YouTube channel, VK3 CSJ. And I think the audio level might be a bit high for the YouTube stream. In fact, Richard, if you can just check that for me. It just looks like it's a bit too much, and I should turn that down otherwise. I think we also have Discord running. So let me just wind the audio level down on YouTube there. 1 2 3 4. 1 2 3 4. That should be a bit better. Oops. All right. So I'm a little bit rusty, being 2 weeks out of this, and I'm already flustered. We also have Discord running too, so if you wish to pop up on Discord, there it is. I can't tell you, if you're new to it, where to find it, but there it is. Install Discord, I suppose, and look for ASV broadcast. We used to have a link to Discord on the ASV website, but that hasn't been restored at this stage, so I'm a bit of a loss how to tell you guys to look for Discord. But I can see there's a few folks there already who know about our Discord chat window. And a very pleasant good evening to David at Mount Burnett Observatory, VK3KDM, and to Rob, VK3XRA. Good evening, Rob. He's in his new Tesla EV vehicle. And I'm not sure how I think you're probably watching me on your mobile phone. And I hope the YouTube stream hangs in there. I'll be very disappointed if it drops out halfway. YouTube doesn't like streams that drop out halfway. It goes into these funny little loop things. Pleasant good evening to Martin, VK7JAH, down there in Launceston. And we also have Cassiopeia, or Nebs. G'day, Nebs. We have Gary watching the stream. He says it's good. Well, the audio should be better now. We have Richard, VK3VRS, also on Discord too. He's the king of the Discord chat window. So if you have any questions about Discord, go and speak to Richard, VK3VRS. Okay, that's about all I can see on Discord at the moment. We also have an email address. So if anybody wishes to send signal reports tonight, vk3ekh@gmail.com, vk3ekh@gmail.com. So I think everything is running okay. All right, let's get into it. There's a few things tonight, a couple of interesting things actually, which I was going to talk about last week. So I've brought them over to tonight. A couple of interesting things, and it's all a little bit hicklety-picklety the way I've got this sitting up on my vMix program. So images are going to be a bit of a trick to find. I normally put them in order, but not tonight. Combination of things here. Anyway, we've got also a solar report from a space weather report from our space weather woman, Timothy Scove. She's got 8 minutes of updates for this week. It's a day out of date, actually, but what she has to say is usually pretty interesting as an update of what's been going on with our sun, the sun, and a little bit of a report on the solar eclipse, and also Mr. Elon Musk's SpaceX disaster. I'm going to say it's a disaster. I mean, all right, there's a few boxes that were ticked, but it still bloody blew up. So it's in my book, it's nothing worth cheering about at all. So why they get so excited over it, I don't know. Anyway, let's get back to the beginning. I'm looking all over the place here. Where am I? Yep, okay. The Astronomical Society of Victoria was founded in 1922. It comprises well over 1,600 members, very close to 2,000, I believe, these days in the total count. Throughout Victoria, other states of Australia and overseas. Membership of the Society is open to all persons with an interest in astronomy. The Society's objectives are to encourage the study and practice of astronomy, to disseminate the knowledge of the science and to provide greater facilities for the study among its members. Monthly meetings are usually held on the second Wednesday of each month, except in January, the latter being held on a Saturday night. Meetings start at 8 p.m. in the Mullior Hall, Burwood Avenue, Melbourne, near the Melbourne Observatory, which is located not too far from the Shrine of Remembrance, which will be a popular place on this coming Tuesday, being Anzac Day. And it should be good weather too for that. Parking is available in Burwood Avenue, Dallas Brooks Drive and surrounding streets. Admission is free and visitors, of course, are most welcome. Privileges of membership include the right to borrow books, periodicals and other publications from the Society's extensive library located at the Melbourne Observatory, receipt of the ASV magazine Crux containing articles, news, observing notes and the like, and the free provision of the Astronomical Yearbook. Access is available to telescopes on members' nights held regularly at the Melbourne Observatory and after the monthly meetings, weather permitting. These instruments include the Society's 300mm equatorial reflector and a 300mm portable reflector. There's also a 200mm refractor, which apparently is managed by the Royal Botanic Gardens, and a recently restored photoheliograph are also housed at the observatory and are accessible to members too. The Society also has a number of 200mm reflectors available for short period loan, so members can try before they buy. Members are also encouraged to make the use of the Society's country property, the Dark Sky site, located not too far from Heathcote, Central Victoria. Some 90-minute drive north of Melbourne, there are a range of instruments available for members to use. The larger two, only with appropriate training. And these range from 300mm to 1000mm in aperture. And I'm still getting around to getting a chance to look through the 40-incher. I've never looked through it yet. Also located on site is the 8.5 fully steerable radio telescope, not quite steerable at the moment, which members can access with involvement in the radio astronomy section. Yes, our 8.5 metre dish has a elevation issue with the elevation screw. Some part of that has decided to wear out, so our dish is going through a maintenance cycle at the moment. But I have it on good advice that things are coming along, and there is a bit of an emphasis to try and get the radio telescope back up and running, because the CSIRO up at Parkes particularly is a couple of guys up there, astrophysicists or radio astronomers, have a bit of an interest in being able to use our telescope, so or at least we use it for their benefit. But that's an interesting one, and that's I'll keep you abreast of those little things as they come afoot. that's something that came out of the recent trip up to the field trip up to the Parkes Telescope with the radio astronomy section, which unfortunately I didn't go along. Members are encouraged to make and use telescopes. Advice and help on both matters are provided willingly to newcomers desiring to do the same. Instrument making is only one of the number of common interest activities catered for within the society. And I'll just go through them very quickly. From the home page, if you go under the website, I might mention that the website for ASV is going through a bit of a change. There's a new refreshed appearance, and it's still under work. But there are now 21 sections that make up the ASV. There's astrophotography, club section, comet and meteor section, computing section, astrophysics and cosmology, deep sky, historical section, instrument making, juniors, lunar and planetary, new astronomers group, something called radio astronomy, solar astronomy, space exploration, and women in the ASV. That's the new section. So if any of those sections sound of any interest to you, just explore each link here is a link to a separate page which gives you a bit of a rundown of what the section does, and should provide an email to contact the section director if you wish to pop along to a meeting. And most of the meetings these days are still being held on Zoom, but we now have access to the Melbourne Observatory, the Ellery Suite, it's called the Ellery Suite, which I believe is just opposite the library at the the Melbourne Observatory. So the Ellery Suite is now the common meeting place, for all our meetings that occur. Since Para Street is no longer. So, but a lot of those sections also still offer the chance of coming in via Zoom, and I'm losing my voice already. So that's it, 21 sections, 21 active groups within the ASV, apart from, actually, that's something that's missing in this list of groups. There used to be the Bendigo section. What's happened to the Bendigo section, Mark? There used to be a page here for the Bendigo section, which was the Bendigo Astronomical Society, which is now merged with the ASV. They had their own section. I don't see that. Or do I? Is it there? I can't remember. No, I can't see it. Anyway, that's, like I said, the web page is going through changes. Anyway, apart from all that, contact details for various section directors are provided in the yearbook, but if you don't have the yearbook, because you can only get the yearbook if you become a member, so all contact details can be found on the ASV website, as far as I remember it. Further information may be obtained by visiting the ASV website, and notifications of events are given in the Crux Extra. And the Crux Extra are bulletins sent out via email to members every other week when there's things to be reminded of the membership. Also, please note that the ASV will conform to all government health directives. ASV events may be required to be cancelled, moved or postponed, as what's happened with the Messier Star Party. The Messier Star Party was all going to go ahead, but due to the fire restrictions on the day, of course, it was cancelled, and I get the impression that they're going to hold a Messier Star Party of sorts via the internet, via Zoom, or via YouTube links and such thing. It's all on the ASV homepage, I believe. So you just check out the homepage. All right. Where was I? Oh, yeah. You can write to the Secretary, the Astronomical Society of Victoria, GPO Box 1059, Melbourne, Victoria 3001. That's the Secretary, Astronomical Society of Victoria, GPO Box 1059, Melbourne, Victoria 3001, if you wish to use post. But of course, joining the ASV or finding out about how to join the ASV is all done via the homepage, and there's a fairly obvious link on the front of the page here on how to join. So it's all via PayPal and such things. So there it is. That's what the broadcast here is all about. It's on behalf of the Astronomical Society of Victoria. It's all amateur, so there's nothing very professional about what I do. So you're going to have to put up with me tripping over words that are unpronounceable. There's no music, there's no commercials. It's just raw, like Eddie Murphy. Well, there's no bad language. I could, but I won't. Anyway, just carrying on here like a pork chop. Time is 18 past the hour, or is it? Yeah, it is. All right, where are we now? Okay, that's enough preamble and waffle. We should have people now linking in or listening in on 3541 that are wondering if I'm up here tonight or not. This is something I've just come into discovering. So some of you out there might know about this, but I found it quite interesting. It's called the Burckle crater. Burckle crater, B-U-R-C-K-L-E, Burckle crater. The Burckle crater is an undersea feature about 29 kilometres in diameter in the southwestern Indian Ocean. The Russian Academy of Sciences lists the feature as a potential impact crater. The Holocene Impact Working Group, HIWG, proposed that it was formed by a very large scale and relatively recent, as in 3000 to 2800 BCE meteorite impact event, possibly resulting from a comet. These claims have not been accepted by the scientific community, though. I guess we have to stress that. But on Google Earth, once you type in the coordinates on Google Earth and go swimming under the water, you can actually, it's actually the crater is well, it's a little vague, but you can tell that there is some sort of impact crater at these coordinates. And if you rotate the screen so you get your perception on a flat screen, you can see, yeah, okay, there's something like a crater there. Interesting to know how they found that originally, but anyway. So the feature is located just east of Madagascar, and the west of Western Australia in the southern Indian Ocean, adjacent to the southwest Indian Ocean ridge. Its position was determined in 2006 by the Holocene Impact Working Group using prehistoric chevron dune formations in Australia and Madagascar. Chevron, that's C-H-E-V-R-O-N, chevron dune formations in Australia and Madagascar, based on the hypothesis that these dunes were formed by a mega tsunami, and this is what's caught my attention initially. Mega tsunami resulting from an impact. The researchers were able to triangulate the location of the Burckle crater, and the hypothesis that these chevron dunes were caused by the mega tsunami has been challenged by geologists in 2009 using a computer model to simulate a tsunami. They argue that the structures are more consistent with alien, not as an alien, but I'm trying to work out how to pronounce that, aeolian processes, A-E-O-L-I-A-N, O-A-L, yeah, processes. The tsunami origin of these chevrons is also disputed by other Earth scientists. So you can find the Burckle crater. It's located at 30.865 degrees and 61.365 degrees east. So 30.865 degrees south, this is decimal, and 61.365 east in the Indian Ocean, and it's 3,800 meters down below the surface. Now that's all just from Wikipedia. So if you want to find out more information, certainly go exploring Wikipedia, Burckle Crater, Burckle. And that's about all. There's a few other links associated with the Wikipedia article and a picture here as well. Now I don't know if I actually saved the map. No, I didn't. But what I did do. Is there's a video, and this is what actually got my attention initially too, was a YouTube video. Now what I'll do, there is audio attached to this, but I won't play it because it goes for an hour and 21 minutes, this YouTube thing. Suffice to say that what's interesting is that the person who's talking about this impact crater, the impact, comet impact, is more focusing on the tsunami, mega tsunami damage that was done along the coast of Australia, Tasmania, and various other parts of countries around the Indian Ocean. And they talk about these chevrons because when you look from a satellite point of view, using Google Earth, you can actually see that there was some mega event that did occur, and a lot of the coastline along Victoria, Tasmania, and along Western Australia, you can see that there was some interesting event where deposits from the ocean were brought out onto the shoreline and brought into land by maybe a couple of kilometres or so. But this guy talking in this video, he's showing you this interesting evidence, and the chevrons are shaped in a triangle sort of shape, giving you an indication of where this wave was coming in. So as far as YouTube is concerned, it's called the video is called the Burckle Crater Mega Tsunami. In brackets, the documentary goes for an hour and 21. Now, let's just see if I can bring it up and keep my audio running.
A mega tsunami is a truly terrifying event. Thankfully, they're quite rare. It takes certain specific conditions to generate them. But in general, the predominant ways that they will be created...
Kill that. Okay, alright. So, as you can see, what I'll do is I'll just fast forward. You have to be watching YouTube to be catching up with this. I'm still connected to the internet by the looks of it, so that's good to see. So those watching ATV and YouTube can see this video. Now I'm just going to see if I can fast forward it through a little bit. This is where he explores the coastline from an aerial point of view, and this is where he's talking about how there's evidence of a fairly large tsunami that must have occurred at some stage. And I'm just going to flick through. You can see these areas here where sand has been brought in. I'm just fast forwarding it through just to wet your whistle. I'm going to explore, just checking it out on YouTube. Let me see if I can find something. There was a little map that he had of Australia and a rough outline of where this impact was. I'm just jumping through the video really quickly, hopefully to find a map that he had, and I'm just not clicking on the right spots. So there it is. But look, as I say, there we are, finally found it. So if you're watching the YouTube channel and the repeater, all that area there that you see that is marked in red for Australia is areas that were affected by this mega tsunami caused by this impact, and he takes you for an aerial flyover of the coastline, and he points out the potential damage that was caused by this mega tsunami. So it was really interesting, and I was totally unaware of an impact crater located under the Indian Ocean in 3,800 meters of water. And I'm just seeing, here's the chevrons. This is what he means by chevrons. If you're watching the video, you've got all these angle bits. Now, if you remove all these red marks there, you can actually see in the formation of the land and the trees and vegetation how a wave must have just completely went across all this country at some point. Something definitely large came in hard on the shoreline. But what I'm trying to find quickly now before we continue on, is I'm just trying to see if he's got a map here of where this impact crater is, and I don't think I'm going to find it straight away. So look, I'm not going to wait and muck around here any longer. So we've got other things here to mention. Like now, there was one of Tasmania. It's kind of a superimposed image there, but you can see how in the image of Tasmania there was several locations where there's evidence of some sort of tsunami impacting the shoreline, and I'm just don't know where this map was that shows the impact crater location. Anyway, like I say, just go to Wikipedia or particularly YouTube and look for that documentary about the crater at the bottom of the Indian Ocean. Really fascinating stuff. You're tuned to VK3 Echo Kilo Hotel, the official station of the Astronomical Society of Victoria. Now, it's 29 past the hour, 10:30. Next thing is another interesting thing I came across, a spotlight on, not a spotlight, but metaphorically speaking. Let me see, where's this article? Bring it up. Here we are. All right. Again, I'm just exploring YouTube and found a very interesting variety of YouTubes that are on this particular girl, Sabrina Gonzalez Pastorisky. I think I got that right. Sabrina Gonzalez Pastorisky. Born June 3, 1993. And she is an American theoretical physicist from Chicago who studies high-energy physics. She describes herself as a proud first-generation Cuban-American and Chicago Public Schools alumna. I don't know how you pronounce that, doesn't matter. She completed her undergraduate studies at the Massachusetts Institute of Technology. In fact, I'll bring up a picture of her here so you're not just looking at me, for God's sake. She's quite a nice looking lady, actually. Not the reason why I found her, of course, but here she is. Oops. See, that was a fleeting glimpse. Here she is. All right, now I'll go back to the article. PhD. She earned a PhD from Harvard University and is a PCTS postdoctoral fellow at the Princeton University. According to Google Trends, Sabrina was the third trending scientist for all of 2017, In 2015, she was named to the Forbes 30 Under 30 Science list, named a Forbes 30 Under 30 All-Star in 2017, whatever all that means, and returned as a judge in 2018 as part of Forbes' first ever all-female science category judging panel. She is known for her unusual list of accomplishments, including a 5.00 undergraduate GPA from MIT. Again, that's pretty nice, isn't it? So let's see if we can get into a little bit more. Sabrina was born again in New Jersey, 1993. Her father, an attorney and electrical engineer, encouraged her to follow her dreams. That she did. She enrolled at the Edison Original Gifted Center in 1998 and graduated from the Illinois Mathematics and Science Academy in 2010. She's a smart cookie for a young girl. That's what I'm getting at. She took her first flying lesson in 2003, piloted a FAA-1, and started building a kit aircraft in 2006 at the age of, I think, 14 or something like that. Her first US solo flight was in that kit aircraft in 2009 after being signed off by her CFI accreditation. In her 2012 Scientific American 30 Under 30 interview, Sabrina named among her scientific heroes and said she was drawn to physics by Jeff Bezos. She has received job offers from Blue Origin, an aerospace company founded by Amazon.com's Jeff Bezos, and of course NASA. Okay, I'm just reading from Wikipedia, which is a little bit disjointed. It's I would have rather found something better to read, but she is considered the next Einstein in the way she's making impacts on various universities and various people. Now, what I do have here is a short video. Again, here's another picture of here. And let's just see if I can bring up this video, if it's going to work. I hope it will work, especially with the sound side of it for 80 meters. I think I've got that all configured. Yeah, that should work. Let's see if that's going to work. All right, stand by. This only goes for 3 minutes. Now, I haven't actually vented this video, so if I see anything that's not quite right, I'll have to stop the video or edit it. Alright, just checking if I've got my headphones on. And let's see what happens if we do this.
I'm more interested in the process of figuring it out. I don't know exactly what problem I will or will not end up solving, or what exactly I'll end up working on in a couple of years. But I do know that I like doing this type of thing, and I know that the fun thing about physics is that you don't know exactly what you're going to do, and normally things just change very quickly, kind of irreversibly, if they're really right. And that's kind of exciting. It's a bit of an unknown. I'm Sabrina Gonzalez-Pastersky, and I am a graduate student in theoretical physics at Harvard.
Okay, technically, yes, she is a grad student, but she's also so much more. This is the woman that Harvard has dubbed the next Einstein. Oh, and did we mention she's endearingly modest? But great minds like this don't just appear out of thin air.
My family would always fix things around the house rather than like hire people to do it. So we always were a bit hands-on, and it was good to learn from like what the people around you know. That kind of attitude that you can fix something, you can build something. I did fine in school, but I also like building things, and so like kind of the technical side of stuff. Like I never was that super great at like memorizing things. So what I loved about physics or mathematics is that you're like, if you don't know something, you can figure it out. So you can have the wrong answer, but then realize why you're wrong and make it right. Rather than if you forget a date or just don't know some facts, things go just plain wrong very quickly.
When she was 14, she constructed her own single-engine plane by herself.
So I started being interested in aviation, and when I was younger, I wanted to build spacecraft. And so I started taking flying lessons. I was fortunate that I was able to do that. I had read about like a young pilot, and he ended up flight training in Canada, and I wrote like an essay about how cool he was and how he inspired me to go start like flight training in Canada so I could solo a powered aircraft at 14 instead of at 16 in the US.
After 2 years of hard work, she flew it across Lake Michigan. And all this before going to college. Sabrina started off her post-secondary education at MIT, where she was actually waitlisted. That is, until professors saw her video of building and flying her plane. That's where she graduated as the first female student ever to receive the Physics Orloff Scholarship. And oh yeah, she graduated with a 5.0 average. Apparently that's even possible.
In undergrad, we had like a basic biology course, a chemistry course, and physics course we had to take. And I guess physics picked me in the sense that I did I try hard in all of the courses, and it just came more naturally to me. So it's kind of a feedback loop where you like it and then it likes you, and so you keep doing it.
Currently, she's working on her PhD in theoretical physics, studying easy breezy stuff like black holes, gravitational force, and the nature of space-time.
What inspires me is sometimes thinking about, you never feel like you know a lot. You always feel like you don't know very much at all, but you do feel more and more that in the past you didn't know very much, even more. So somehow like the gradual progression and keeping it like in mind that you were worse before and you're getting better, like to motivate yourself at like the day-to-day, that's what's good. And like the excitement that comes with figuring something out is a good motivator.
Oh, and one last thing. Stephen Hawking, yes, that Stephen Hawking, cites her work in his research.
I'm very fortunate that people want to hear what I have to say. There's a sense in which you can do more, and you're impressed by things that you did in the past, but you realize that you didn't know what you were doing then. And so it's kind of, you take a step back and you realize, I'd rather know what I'm doing and do something better in the future than think that what I did in the past was so great.
Right. There it is. So, apologies for the backing sound effects. I had no idea that was so obvious there. But anyway, it's a visual thing, and you certainly would need to, just making sure I've got my levels up here. All right, yeah, I'm up there. Good, okay. Because I had to wind down a few things here to get that to work. Okay, this is VK3 Echo Kilo Hotel, the official station of the Astronomical Society of Victoria, with a regular Friday night broadcast. So keep an eye out for Sabrina. She's only a young girl, but she's very switched on, and he's going places. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see a Nobel Prize coming out of her in sometime in the future. But she's got a bit of an interest in astronomy, and as it was mentioned there in that last part, she's looking into understanding black holes and space-time, all that sort of thing that Einstein was also involved with too. So yeah, there it is. All right, next is on here is where was me? Oh, okay, all right. Now I've just got to keep an eye on the time because I've got Space Weather Woman's solar report 2. It's only 8 minutes, but I'll try and squeeze that in. So the next thing, oh yeah, okay. This before I talk about the solar eclipse. This is just 14th of April. This was published. Artificial intelligence is dramatically enhances the first ever image of a black hole. So I've got an image here of that. Let me see. Yeah, okay. All right. So for those watching YouTube and RTV, the image on the left side is the original image that was taken by the Atacama array up there at Chile in South America, and of a black hole, at least the effects of the surrounding material of the black hole rather than the black hole itself, of course. But using artificial intelligence, they've been able to resolve the image a little clearer, as you can see at the right of it. And there's actually a little bit of a GIF image here, which I'll see if that will work. Oh yeah, okay, so it kind of takes you from what it did look like to what it looks like now. So the article goes on to say that this month marks